2nd, 2022 business meeting of the Mississippi Board of Nursing. To begin, I would like to ask Ms. Lacey to say a word of prayer.
Will you bow with me, please? Gracious Father, we humbly bow before your throne and we praise you for this glorious day. I ask timely and complete healing over Miss Jan Collins and Miss Shirley Jackson. And thank you for all the work they have done on this wonderful board. I praise you for our profession and our opportunity to serve you through the work on this board. Grant us wisdom and discernment in our proceedings today and take us all home safely. In your son's holy and gracious name, we ask all these things. Amen.
Amen. Right, at this time, I'd like to declare that we do have a quorum. And would like to get an approval of the agenda. And a motion. And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, open forum. Ms. Phillips, I'm gonna hand it over to you.
With that. Well, we have some special guests that we want to recognize today. We'd like to ask Dr. LaDonna Northington to come forward. Dr. Northington retired from the University of Mississippi Medical Center. If my chair will come forward, we have a plaque to present to her, not because of her retirement, but she is a past president of the Mississippi Board of Nursing. And she, come on over here, because she's going to have to get a photo op. With the chair, stay in the face this way in front of our Mississippi Board of Nursing. I'm gonna give this to you. But we wanted to recognize Dr. Northington not only for her experience in academia, but as a clinician. She's well known in the professional nursing organizations as well as academia. The students love her. She is going to be deeply and truly missed at UMC, but we wanted to acknowledge you and how important your service has been to the state of Mississippi and to the nursing profession. And I'll let my chair say anything else that he needs to say. And I know Dr. Stewart is here and she's in academia. If you have anything you'd like to say on her behalf, feel free to do so.
Yes, I'd like to say that I have been in mourning, in complete mourning, because LaDonna is not only one of my models in terms of academia, but just a good, solid person and a dear friend. We were office mates for a long time, and then she got important and went upstairs. I'm just so happy that she has given so much of who she is to Mississippi and to all of us in the profession.
So, Ms. LaDonna, on behalf of the Mississippi Board of Nursing, we thank you. I have not met you till this morning, but I can tell you from the board and everyone I've encountered, they speak very highly of you, and thank you for all your service.
Thank you. Do you have anything you'd like to say at this point?
I don't usually get to it. Thank you to everybody. I did serve 9 years, 9 years on the board, and I learned a lot. I transferred a lot of that knowledge to my students, hopefully to help them to not be here in front of the board in their profession. So thank you. I'm trying to learn how to be retired. Not quite there yet, but I'm working on it. So thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm going over. So I'm looking via Zoom. I see Miss Shirley Jackson. Hey, Miss Shirley.
She on mute.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss
I love
Shirley.
you all.
So we're wishing
And
you
may I say to Dr. Northington, can you hear me?
Yes.
LaDonna was my mentor several years ago when I worked in pediatric intensive care. She taught me quite a bit, and I just want to tell her that I love her and I appreciate all that she has done all across the years of her profession.
So Miss Shirley, we hate you can't be here with us this morning, but we do want to say thank you for your service on the board. And on behalf of the Mississippi Board of Nursing, we're going to send you this plaque, but we hope you come back and pick it up. We'd love to see.
Oh, my Lord.
So, Miss Shirley.
Well,
here's your
thank
plaque.
you so much. I will come back and pick it up.
Please do. Thank you.
I love you all.
So we have some appointments and reappointments, correct, Phyllis?
Yes.
So the first one is Miss Lacey Gentry. Sent on behalf of the government, thank you. Mr. Jeremy Cummings. Danny Clinton.
Jamie, Jeremy, and Lacey are our new appointments. And these now are our reappointments that he's getting ready to present.
Miss Nancy Norris Johnson. Dr. Melissa King. Mr. Alton Shaw. Thank you, Mr. Thank you. All of the nursing workforce.
I'm sorry. Jared, open forum for other public comment.
Anyone from open forum that would like to have public comment?
Good morning. I'm Melissa Temple. I am Director of Nursing Education at Mississippi Institution for Higher Learning, and I just wanted to provide you with an update. The new Mississippi Nursing. I'm sorry. Okay. The new Mississippi Nursing Degree Programs, Accreditation standards and the procedure manual have been updated, and they have been uploaded to the website. I have the state and national site visits that will take place this year listed on the report that I gave you. The annual report has also been posted. It's the 2021 annual report for Mississippi Nursing Degree Programs, outlining our 23 schools of nursing and 39 degree programs. A little bit about admissions, enrollment, and graduation for this past year. You can see that we have had a decline in admissions and enrollment during the academic year 2020-2021. There were 3,874 admissions to schools of nursing as compared to 4,090 for the previous academic year. That's a difference of 216. Overall, admissions have decreased by 3.2% since academic year 16-17. Enrollment in fall 2021, schools of nursing reported 5,526 students enrolled as compared to 5,937 the previous fall 2020. And that's a difference of 411 students enrolled. Overall enrollment has decreased by 7.2% since fall of 2017. Looking at the number of graduates during the academic year 2020-2021, there were 2,858 compared to 2,757. So while we did have 101 more graduates, that trend will start to decline as we're seeing the decrease in admissions and enrollment. The nursing education loan scholarship programs, those have not been awarded in the last 5 to 6 years due to lack of funds, but funding was provided this year, and those are current for the academic year 2022-2023 year, and there were 799 applications submitted for those opportunities. An update just on our NCLEX for this calendar year, January 22 to June 22. We have had 1,403 new graduates from Mississippi Schools of Nursing take the NCLEX RN. And compared to this time last year, it's the same. There's an 86% first-time pass rate for that group. And compared nationally, there's an 82% pass rate. So our students, our graduates are doing well on the NCLEX. I'd also like to share just a few administrative changes. The Mississippi University for Women has a new Dean of Nursing and Allied Health Sciences, Dr. Brandy Lorman. East Mississippi Community College has a new Director of Nursing and Allied Health, Mr. Monica Johnson. East Central Community College has a new Dean of Healthcare Education, Dr. Donna Everett, and Northeast Mississippi Community College, Dr. Melissa Morgan. I'd be happy to answer any questions if anybody has any. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Temple. Anyone else from the public? Dr. Burks?
Good morning. The practical nursing update. Currently, we're in the process of doing the PN curriculum revision. The tentative date for the revisions is going to be fall 2022. The curriculum is actually under the purview of the Community College Board, but we do a collaboration when looking at that curriculum. And of course, the Mississippi Practical Nursing Programs, their curriculum is standardized. Schools have the opportunity to choose one of 5 options. The revision team consists of faculty, program administrators, and business and industry. Again, it is a collaborative effort with everyone being involved. The NCSBN, every 2 years, they submit activity statements. And so with those activity statements, there was a gap analysis conducted, and it was a crosswalk of our practical nursing curriculum, because these activity statements will be utilized in revising the current curriculum. In 2019, there were 151 activity statements submitted through NCSBN that related to the LPN scope of practice. In this report, there was 152 statements. The additional activity statement relates to hemodialysis and peritoneal dialysis, which is currently a part of the expanded roles in the state of Mississippi. So Mississippi is in alignment with what Nationals is doing and what National recommends. Attached, you will see where a crosswalk has been completed. What I did was looked at the activity statements from 2019, compared them to the activity statements of 2021, and then listed exactly where those statements or that content is being covered in the Mississippi curriculum. Those areas that are highlighted, there were a few changes, and so those are highlighted or in red. And on page 10, you'll notice that provide care for clients receiving peritoneal dialysis or hemodialysis. That is the new statement, and listed also are the classes in which that information is covered. So again, this information will be utilized to assist in revising the curriculum. The last thing I have is related to Holmes Community College, their hybrid program. In December 2020, their program was granted permission to transition from a pilot PN hybrid program to a regular offered option. With that, the program is required to submit their outcomes to the board. They recently graduated their second cohort of students, and their pass rate is 100% on first rights. That is the end of my updates. Any questions?
Dr. Burks, I'm just curious, how many people did they have in that second cohort?
They actually had 11 because they have one instructor and they are within those guidelines of ratios for clinicals. And so out of that 11, 9 graduated.
Okay.
Again, thank you for all your hard work and very detailed report. If you look at this, a lot of work there. So thank you so much. Very good job.
So for my part, Mr. President, the ONW would like to bring forth a motion to approve scholarships for the schools of nursing, which totaling all nursing schools applied for a total of $812,500.
You guys bring that forward in a motion, correct?
Yes.
Have a motion. We get a second. Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you.
I would also, before we end, I would like to say thank you to Christy for working on this project. She managed to get all 23 this time. So great job, Christy.
Thank you, Sandra. Any questions for Sandra? Moving on into board business. Business meeting minutes, June 10th, 2022. Had a chance to review those. Bring forward in a motion. Motion, Mr. Shaw. Second.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Hearing panel minutes for June 2022. Bring forward motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Right.
Agreed settlement proposal minutes for June 2022. Motion, Mr. Thomas.
I'll second.
Second, Lord. All in favor? Waiving of reading of names on motions. Motion. Laura, all in favor? Future meetings.
Mr. Chair, if I could, when they do the motion, if you could call the Nancy, I think she's having a little bit of difficulty hearing and seeing who made the motion, who seconded. So for the record, please, sir, thank you.
The last three have been easy. It's been the same. Future meetings, agreed settlement proposals, October, are scheduled for October 4th, 2022. Disciplinary hearings, October 5th and 6th, 2022 at 8:30. Board business meeting, October 7th at 11:05. The panel members include Sandra Culpepper, Dr. Mary Stewart, Laura Moore, and Jeremy Cummings. Moving on to legislative report, Mr. Trey.
Good morning. Good to see everybody. It's been a while. I'm so sorry to hear about Jan's accident, but it's nice to have a full house. And Phyllis, you're going to be real pleased. I have a short today. Some of you newer board members, sometimes she says that my Baptist side comes out a little too much. So I'm going to try to be brief. I'd be remiss without pointing out my longtime friend and former colleague, Miss Avery Lee. Very good attorney, and good to see you, Avery. I wanted to start out by saying that I wanted to mention next week is the Neshoba County Fair. You mentioned the Neshoba County Fair. Well, it's kind of an epicenter of state politics, which influences all state government because you're going to have the governor there, lieutenant governor, the speaker, many legislators. Next Wednesday and Thursday are the two big speaking days. That's Wednesday and Thursday. If you've never been, it's an experience. I I used to make every year. I'm going to try to go for a day, but that 100-degree heat and the red dirt starts to get wear on you a little bit. But it's a great experience if you've never been. But you also get a chance to one-on-one with a lot of our state and local officials. So that part of it's really good. And just wanted to mention that to those that may be interested. Secondly, looking forward to the Ms. Johnson, the National Council State Board of Nursing meeting coming up next month. My interest is on the governmental affairs side, meeting with their staff and their people, one about issues that are important to this board in the nursing profession, certainly full practice authority, but there's also other emerging national trends in the profession that we can kind of get a head start on and kind of collaborate with other states. And that's very helpful. So looking forward to that, Phyllis. And I think it'll be a good experience. Not to mention, we've also got one of our own that's up for the big position over that organization, and looking forward to that. In September, and Ms. Montgomery knows this better than anybody, we've got the budget process really starts to kick up. Legislative Budget Office they hold some meetings. They hold a lot of discussions behind closed doors. They start to look at the next fiscal year. Shan, I guess that'd be the 24, right? Budget. So I know this lady's on top of it all the time, but sometimes we'll get requests for information or calls or questions. And we're always, ready to respond promptly and to be prepared for that. So that'll be happening in September. I also wanted to mention, I know this issue is important to many of you. Mental health is just a problem, not just in Mississippi, but across the country. We've seen all the shootings and things. That's kind of a sidebar, but it's related. Chairman Nick Bain, who chairs the House Judd B Committee, is set up a subcommittee on mental health. Now, his will be more focused on the relationship between crime and mental health issues, which there's obviously, there's a big correlation, particularly with our juveniles, our young people. And I think you're going to see a focus this session on mental health. I hope even in a more broad scope, but certainly dealing with crime and juveniles. So I think that's something that we will be watching. There's 5 members, I think, on the subcommittee. I know Miss Jill Ford, that's the rep here in Madison County, serves on that committee. That's also a good friend of Miss Collins. Last thing I wanted to mention is the Arpa Funds. Y'all are familiar. The federal dollars that passed down Mississippi. I think the major allocation was like $1.5 billion. And it's been great, not just for state government, but for our cities and counties and local governments. But they still have a little less than 300 million left in that fund. So, that's totally the discretion of the legislature. But I'm hoping that some of that can be directed, Phyllis, to healthcare or things that promote public health in the state. And that's something that, if you talk to any of your legislators or whatever, you might ask them what their plans are for those remaining ARPA dollars. So certainly like to see that pumped as much as we can into our public health system. At this time, are there any questions? Have a question? If not, I will cede the mic and my time. Thank you very much.
Made a record.
You did.
I'm in.
Thank you. Always very simple. Dr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Trey. We do enjoy your legislative reports. I'm looking forward to you attending the annual meeting in August with the rest of the group, because that is a great opportunity for our person here that deals with our legislative issues to network at the national level. That being said, August 17th through 19th, annual meeting. We have several people that will be attending. We're very pleased with that. Our delegates, hopefully you have received all of your information and have reviewed that information. If you have any questions, please contact me or Vanessa Gray. Make sure all your accommodations have been confirmed and everything is in order. NLC will be meeting on that Tuesday, I think, in the afternoon session is the session that will be open to the public. The morning session is closed. It's not open to the public. It's only for the executive officers. But if you signed up to attend that, you don't have to be there until I think 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I also wanted to, before I get too much into some of the updates, I want to thank April Lee, who is sitting in today as our representative from the Attorney General's office, as the Assistant Attorney General today. Avery and the AG's office have been so supportive during our transition to finding a new attorney. And I have not been able to publicly thank them or thank her. But Avery, if you would stand, we just like to give you a round of applause. Yes, that's the way we do it over here. So yeah. So, yeah, it's been a great, they have been so supportive and helped us through a very difficult time. That being said, I would like for our new general counsel, Ms. Deanne Sauceman, to stand, because we mentioned her the last time, but she was not here. She started with us officially, I think, the middle of June. And so Deanne is a welcome addition to the Board of Nursing. And some of you got a chance to see her in action if you were on the panel at the board hearings this week. So Deanne, we are delighted to have you and look forward to continue work with Deanne and the AG's office and our other legal representatives, Trey Bobinger, who is a legislative person. So we just wanted to welcome Deanne, officially welcome her today.
Very excited to be here. Grateful for the opportunity.
Thank you. And before I go any further, I want to give a thanks to Executive Director Jay McDaniels and the Gaming Commission. And I would like for our adopted board staff member, Chris, from the Gaming Commission to stand. They provided law enforcement for us during the hearings this week. They were very accommodating. We very much appreciate them. And I just wanted to publicly thank Executive Director McDaniels and his office, and Chris, you all, for the job you all did this week. Do I have any other agents here that today, normally we have them all over the place. That's right. That's what I like about it. You can't identify it. So thank you for that. Couple of things on the agenda. We have an MANP, the Nurse Practitioner Conference will be taking place next week. And I, along with several staff members, will be attending that. I will be speaking at that conference next week. It will be in Gulf Shores. So I will be leaving Sunday and will be out of the office, but accessible if you need me until Thursday of next week. Great conference, well attended down in that area. We get people from Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi that attend that conference. Good information to pass on about legislative issues dealing with nurse practitioners. I want you all to be aware of that. We also will be attending the 2022, and this is, if you don't know about this, the Workforce, Career, and Technical Education Summer Conference will be held in Philadelphia, Mississippi on August the 3rd through the 5th. At the Silver Star Casino. So if you have not heard about it or wish to attend, get with Dr. Burke because she knows the information more than I do, but we will be there. I've been asked to serve on a panel up there talking about the nursing profession, the workforce issues. So please, if you have the opportunity to attend, feel free to do so. It's always good to see our board members there when the Board of Nursing is presenting to offer that support. So that will be August 3rd through the 5th. Introduced Deanne. The other thing that I want to talk about is you will see on the, and I don't know why Shane has it like that because I can't see that far. We have several staff that are participating at the national level. And I wanted to, we talked about it, I know earlier in our meeting earlier, but I wanted the board to be aware that as of this week, Shan Montgomery has been selected by the NCSBN Board of Directors to serve on a national committee, which is the NCSBN Awards Committee. So we would like to applaud Shan for that honor. Additionally, and Dr. Burks probably doesn't know I'm going to talk about this, but we also have Dr. Priscilla Burks, who was contacted by the Director of Nursing Regulation at NCSBN on yesterday and asked to serve on the NCSBN Journal of Nursing Regulation editorial board. And Dr. Burks has graciously agreed to do so. Additionally, we have several members that serve on national boards at NCSBN. Sandra Culpepper, who is our board member, serves on one of the boards there, a very important board that deals with the NCLEX, and I think something to do with the nursing assistants as well. We have Sharon Russell, who is a staff member here at the board that serves on a national committee. We have other other staff members that are interested in serving, have been intimately involved in the past. One of those is Floyd Wiley, our APRN investigator, and we're getting ready to get him more involved in National Council again because it's very important that our staff be exposed to what's going on, and we have so much to offer. We have a very competent staff, but it's a testament to you as board members, your leadership. I can't do anything that I do here without your support, and I definitely can't do it without my staff support. And Vanessa, who is my executive assistant, does an outstanding job in keeping me on point. So I just want to publicly thank the staff and thank you all for allowing us the opportunity to be involved in what we're involved in. So thank you for that. Additionally, I did put something in your packet that I wanted you to be aware of, and that's dealing with the Department of Justice issue on the opioid use disorder under the Americans with Disabilities Act. If you have not read that, feel free, make sure you read it because it's going to involve some looking at our rules and regulations, and Dr. King that's another one we'll have to bring forward before the administrative code, but it should be an easy fix, just an amendment to probably what we already have in place. But if you're not aware of this, there has been federal law, a precedent set on the substance use disorder, as it is a chronic illness and a disability, and now falls under the Americans with Disabilities Act. It has to do with licensees using methadone, buprenorphine to prevent them from relapsing. And there have been some states that have been sued. All alternative to discipline programs are being looked at from the federal level. And anything in the rules and regulations pertaining to zero tolerance of them taking those two particular prescriptions to prevent relapse will probably get you in trouble going forward. So we're going to be reviewing our rules and regulations because it is a disability and federal law has been set. So I want you to make sure you are aware of it. That's why it was placed in your packet. This information was conveyed to us at the EO Leadership Summit a couple of weeks that I attended in Chicago with National Council. And definitely this was high on their agenda to make sure that everybody was aware of it. There are 4 states that have been sued. It initially started in Indiana, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and Colorado. And they're going to each state looking at any alternative to discipline program. So it's very important that we put this on the agenda, and I'll be talking to Dr. King, who serves as the chair of the admin code. We'll be meeting this afternoon, as a matter of fact, but we'll be prioritizing our need to put those things in order as to what we need to address first. And I won't steal her thunder. The other information you can read about the visibility of the board, we have been very visible. I did want to highlight one important issue. One of our board members spoke at her alma mater this week, as a matter of fact, at Pearl River Community College, and that was Ms. Sandra Culpepper, who currently serves as the vice president for the Mississippi Board of Nursing. And it was well attended. Also, Dr. Burks attended, and she spoke very highly of the ceremony, the pinning ceremony. So thank you, Sandra, and we just applaud you for your representation of the board at this event. And I think that's all I have, other than I just like to thank my staff for putting up with me.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Moving on to committee reports, nothing additional to bring forward on, from the executive committee. Moving on to the compliance committee, or more.
Bring forward. Start reading those.
Get to the budget.
I move that the board adopt the compliance committee's recommendation that the following affidavits, formal reprimands be accepted for ratification. License R85976. I move that the board adopts the compliance committee's recommendation to deny the request of license number R861879 for early release from respondent 24 months probationary period. I move that the board adopts the compliance committee's recommendation to deny the request of license number P328070 for early release from respondent's 36 months probationary period.
Have a motion from the compliance committee.
Second. Owens.
Second, Dr. Owens. All in favor? Motion passed. Advanced practice committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had a busy advanced practice committee, but only one motion to bring forward was the, we would move that that nurse practitioners, it's in their scope of practice for PDO threading. I'll answer any questions about it that I can. We received good information, the training curriculum, their competency and their checkoffs with it. And so we would like to bring that before the board for that to be approved.
Thank you, Dr. King. Any questions? We have a motion from advanced practice committee. Second, Mr. Shaw. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Practice committee, Dr. Stewart.
We have no report.
No report. Thank you, Dr. Stewart. Dr. King, administrative code.
Nothing to bring forward at this time except a meeting this afternoon after this business meeting to go through kind of rules of engagement and high level objectives that we need to cover over the next 12 months. And we'll have a report at the next meeting.
Thank you, Dr. King. We do realize there's a lot of work in that committee coming up, and some of it is very timely. So appreciate your work and that committee's work. Finance committee, Chairman.
Okay, you all have a budget analysis along with a line item packet of expenditures and revenue. I'll go over some high points here. We currently have 5.1 million, a little greater than 5.1 million cash on hand. Expenditures are lower this year than the same time last year, with the exception of travel and subsidy loans. Regarding travel, this is due to lifting of COVID. Subsidy and loans is due to the ONW increasing the amounts of the grants paid. We're still sitting around 23,500 less than we were 2 years ago prior to our COVID shutdown, I guess you would say. Right now, we're sitting with an obligated budget of about 80.14%, which is lower than our last budget this time that was sitting at 86.2. Year before that was 85.04. So we're in a good shape there. Revenue for fiscal year 2022. Year to date, our revenue collected was 2.664 million. Revenue collected for June sitting around 110,206. As far as fiscal year 23 budget appropriations, the agency has received an appropriation of $5,142,258. 42 positions allotted for fiscal year 23. We've been given the approval, the authority to escalate that budget by $69,890 to add an additional position for medical cannabis. Shan's currently working with the Legislative Budget Office to develop a line item budget for fiscal year 23, as well as developing the budget for fiscal year 24. Appropriation is about $24,677 less than fiscal year 22. That would be due to us having a lower contractual service because we have a full-time court reporter now. The ONW stayed the same, as well as the amount that we are owed to the Board of Pharmacy for PMP. As far as fiscal year 24 budget appropriations, the changes that will reflect in the budget, we're asking for the restoration of 3 unfunded pins. I believe 2 of those are administrative assistant pins. One is a nursing pin, I think maybe for a team lead. Secondly, we're asking for a salary increase of $186,914. The ask is a 10% increase for the nursing pins, which are somewhat much below average nursing salary levels, 5% for everyone else. And we put in there a $50,000 increase for Dr. Johnson. They have raised the cap on that, the executive director pin. So those numbers may actually trend down some because of the cap number. So that may be a little bit less than the 50,000 there. Travel, thirdly, we're requesting an increase for travel, $5,000 over last year's request, as we're planning to see more in-state travel with the cannabis and site visits that'll have to take place. We are requesting another replacement vehicle in fiscal year 24. This will be in addition to the vehicle from fiscal year 22 that we have not been able to obtain yet due to supply issues. So that'll be 2 vehicles that we'll be looking to replace. Additional overage request in commodities and contracts. And then lastly, any fiscal year 24 budget request from board members. About 2 weeks ago, it was sent out to all board members that if you had any requests for additional expenditures from the board, to fill that out, supply supporting documentation, return that. I think Shan said we'd have to about the end of the month to get that in. We're going to put forth a motion today for us to continue movement with this 24 budget. If we get a request, we may have to do an amendment to that, but that's where we sit. So I'll bring forward 3 motions today. One is to accept the financial report for June. The second would be that we move for a $50,000 surety bond for the new treasurer. And thirdly, we move to move forward. We move to move forward with the fiscal year 24 budget.
Any questions? We have a motion coming from Finance Committee. Give a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Office of Nursing Workforce. Anything additional? Thank you. Just a reminder, as Dr. Johnson stated, in CSBN annual meeting, August 17th through the 19th in Chicago. Dr. Priscilla Burks is one of the delegates, and Ms. Sandra Culpepper. Alternates are Janie Clanton and Jeremy Cummings. And then the big reminder too, we've got Dr. Johnson again that will be running, and I'm sure we'll all be there rooting her on and politics within the guidelines, as we stated too. There are some guidelines, so just a reminder of that. Dr. Johnson, you may have to tell some of the committee members what the guidelines are, so we don't plaster your face everywhere. But good luck to all those individuals. Yes, and even apparently that's outside the guidelines, pictures and other things. So. And that concludes business. Is there anything else needs to be brought forward? Get a motion. Second. Holding favor. Thank you.